What's up guys, and welcome to my tutorial on how to draw faces. I hope you enjoy. All that you need for drawing is basically just a pencil. It doesn't matter what kind of pencil you have. Like, I have a mechanical pencil and a normal one, and well, an eraser. You don't need anything special. So if you want to draw a face, it's really important to start with a simple circle. I bet you see this in other tutorials as well. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can do it multiple times over and over until you have a circle. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. It's gonna be erased later. It's just here for a guideline. So the next thing is to make sure where the face is looking. So if you're drawing a front-facing face, you're just doing basically this, just two lines across around the middle. This can be a little longer, but I don't really care about it because I technically don't need it anymore, but this is just for guidance. This line is used for the eyes. People always draw this without knowing the use for it. It's for the eyes, so you know where the eyes are supposed to sit. There are some tutorials out there that tell you to make this longer and use this as a chin point and then connect it, but I don't really need this, but if you need it, it's totally fine. So to draw a chin, you just, I'm drawing like this. You just do this, a line down the same way this. And then for an anime face, if you have like a semi-realistic face, you may be drawing different. For anime faces, you really need a sharp angle. This right now looks relatively weird, so I'm going to erase it. And there's no shame in erasing. I've been drawing faces a lot, so technically I should be doing this in one go. But it doesn't always go right in the first time. So always, and then boom. You can have like a little point here for the chin, and then see, that looks better already. It's not really symmetrical, but to be honest, whose face is really symmetrical? So this is technically for the eyes, but like I said, I don't really use it. But if you would use it, you would put the eyes here basically. But what I do first, I always draw in the nose. There's different types of noses that you can draw for anime characters. Like if you watch anime, they usually draw like that. That is the nose, just a line. But there are also noses like this, or I don't know, like this. There are multiple noses that you can draw for your style. I typically, sometimes I just do this. Just two lines, relatively simple. But for me, my personal preference is drawing this, which means one line here, a curved line there, and another one there, and then I'm just making a circle on top. My style isn't really that realistic, you know. I'm gonna adjust the chin a bit. It's a bit too pointy for me. With typical anime style, if you really want an anime style, the chin is really pointy, like a triangle. So this is my nose. Like I said, you can draw any kind of nose you want. I sometimes do this as well, but I don't really know if it looks any better. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It doesn't really matter. So for the mouth, there are a lot of different variations. Like sometimes I just do this, two lines and one line underneath. Boom, you have a mouth. But if you want to have a complicated mouth, like more detailed, you can use 2 points that make a line and then go down and then go up and connect the line, and then basically make a triangle on top and just a line underneath. This is not really symmetrical. If you have the nose here, the mouth should be here. This is like off center right now, but technically it should be here. The mouth is immediately underneath the nose, like this is the space between the nose and here should be the mouth. I'm just drawing 2 lines now because this is relatively easy. Doesn't need a lot. It's just 2 lines. But the thing is, always make sure you have space between the mouth and the chin. Because in my earlier drawings I would draw the mouth down here, and this is it just doesn't look right. Of course you can use it for stylization, but it just doesn't really work. Right now my face is not really symmetrical. This side is longer than this side, but it doesn't really matter, you know. So for the eyes, which is basically the whole part of the face, that is, it's my favorite part to draw, you know. For the eyes, I have simple eyes. I can show you here. I'm drawing eyes like this, 2 lines, and then boom, an eye. It's relatively simple. You can there's differences between girl eyes and boy eyes, I guess. For girls I usually put like makeup on there. It looks really weird right now because I usually don't draw girls. That's how I draw eyes, but of course everybody has a different style. So I would suggest you just draw your own style. But if you really want to just follow this tutorial, it's totally fine. I'm just gonna show you my really simplistic eyes, really easy to draw. So basically, here's the nose, and here's the line for my eyes. So I'm going here, I'm making 1 line, and then I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this again. The thing with eyes is, there's always a problem where they're not symmetrical, they're not in the same height, and they don't look right. So you draw them at the same time. Right now this line is way higher than this, but it's fine. Like I said, we are not on digital art, so we can't just copy it, and you know what I mean. So you have this line, and then you do 1 short line and 1 short line upwards, and basically the same thing here. And you can see, even though I'm drawing them at the same time, they still look relatively different, but we don't care about that. And for the iris, there's also multiple choices that you can take. Like here's another eye. Wait, let me just show you this. You can draw eyes round like this, but you can also, oh god damn it, my thing broke. You can also draw them like this, like triangles. It depends on what kind of character you want to draw. Typically villain characters that are evil have more of a triangle shape because it suggests that they are more dangerous, you know. And if you have this all done, you can erase the guidelines. Just like that. No, eyes always have an eyelid. So for the eyelid, it's basically just this. It's just a line, a really thin line over the eye. If you want to draw eye bags, then you just do this but downwards. But I don't want this for my character, so I'm erasing it again. And now the eyebrows. Eyebrows have a really important part. They play a really important part in drawing. They can show you a lot of emotions. So depending on what kind of emotion you want, I'm just drawing a natural face. So I'm just drawing normal eyebrows. I usually start with 1 line like this to make like a guide, then Just one there and then downwards. Then just follow that and then downwards. Just copy that for the right side and see it doesn't really look the same. But it's totally fine. I'm just doing this, I'm drawing this in real life right now, so usually I would erase way more. So I just try to adjust some stuff with the eyes, and even I can't make them line up perfectly, but that's totally fine. You're not a machine, so you don't need to have eyes perfectly symmetrical in the same place and they need to look the same. It's fine. Not every drawing is going to be perfect. And the thing about eyes, you need to have a space in between, because there are people who draw them too close together or too far apart. You need to have like a sweet spot, but the perfect space between the eyes is basically just measure with your fingers and then put it in between. If the space in between is as large as one of your eyes, it's good. Except if one eye is 10 times bigger than the other, then I would just consider redrawing the eyes. So my eyes right now are a little bit too close to each other, but that's totally fine. Like I said, there are stylistic preferences. If you want to have bigger eyes or smaller eyes, you can do whatever you want. This is just a guideline. So for the ears usually start at the eyebrows and end at the nose. So if you take the eyebrows, you make just a small line here, and then you basically do it for the other side as well. And for the ears, I don't really like drawing them, but I'm just doing a round curve like this, and then I'm going in and out, and basically just this shape. And usually people have ears that go like this. There's just a little pointy thing, I don't know what it's called, and then just an inner thing. And technically there's way more detail inside here, but I usually just don't do this. It doesn't have to be a lot of details. And what I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be perfectly symmetrical if you draw the ears. I would also draw them at the same time. But usually my hair, the hair that I'm drawing, covers up the ears, so I don't really need them, you know. Sometimes I just draw an X in there as a stylistic choice. And if you want to have more detail in the face itself, you can also draw this line and have it here as well, so it shows basically the nose. I usually only have one of these lines doing that, you know. So before we go on to draw the hair, I'm gonna show you the neck. The neck is also really important, because some people are drawing them like this. Wait, okay, this is really exaggerated right now, but way too small or way too wide or way too tall. There's all kinds of things that I already done in my past in my drawing. So if you look at this is the end of the face. Usually here should the neck start, so just like this. And it should be about this tall. And on the side you're just going to add a curved line for the shoulders. So if you want to have more detail in the neck, there are muscles in the neck that go like this, and I'm drawing a guy right now, so we can also do this. This is an Adam's apple, I guess. And there are two different ways you can draw the shoulders. Like some people go down like this, but I like to do it like this. Doesn't really look that much different, but There are people that just go straight down like this. I think straight down technically makes more sense. But the way I've been drawing, it's just like this. And how tall should you, how large or wide you should make the shoulders is basically your head ends here. So it needs to be taller than your head. If you draw it like this, it looks stupid. Like imagine like this. That would just look stupid. You need to have shoulders. Shoulders take up space, especially if you're drawing men. Shoulders are usually bigger. And then if you want to have even more detail, there's like always this thing that goes here. It's your collarbone. Yeah, and then you just, I don't know. You can draw clothes or whatnot. It's not really, I'm just focusing on the face. It doesn't really matter right now. So let's start with the hair. I'm going to warn you, my hair, the way I draw hair, it's not really usual for anime style. Anime styles have like stuff like this, like really sharp, really long, really straight lines. But my hairstyle, how I draw hair is really different because my hair is like this. I'm drawing shapes instead of straight lines, and I also don't have a lot of detail in the hair. So if you want to have really anime styled hair, I would suggest you watch a specific hair tutorial, because that's not really my cup of tea. But there's things you need to take to account, because you have a forehead. The forehead is roughly about this tall, I would say. I have a lot of troubles with drawing foreheads in my past, where the hair would just start here, and that would make no sense because your hair isn't coming out of your forehead, you know. Usually your hairline should go like this, kind of curves upwards, and then here, something like that. It's not looking perfect, but on top of that you can draw hair. Usually I don't really need this guideline. So let's just say the guy has, I don't know, a side part. Usually for a side part I'm going like this. Side part starts here, so I have one point where the hair comes out. And depending on how long the hair is, I'm just doing shapes. And here as well, shape. This is usually also part of the hair, but like I said, I'm just drawing like this. Then usually I don't finish this. I usually do this so I know how large my hair is supposed to be. Because this is the side part. The hair from this side is flowing to this, and the hair from this is flowing here. So I'm trying to emphasize this by drawing flowing hair. As you can see, my hair is really just round shapes. I'm just doing this and whoop, 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 all over the place. I'm just drawing hair like this. Like I said, if you really want to have an anime hair tutorial, I would suggest you Google that or watch another tutorial for that, because my hair, like you can see, it's not really anime style. This is just how I draw hair. So now this side is bigger than this one, but like I said, having an asymmetrical hair or face is totally fine. So to have more detail inside the hair, you can also do these things. I'm doing I'm doing this a lot, where I'm just putting more of these wiggly things. I don't even know what this shape is. It's like whoop, whoop. One curve, then it curves outward, then it's a point, and then it curves back and back. This is how I draw it. Everybody has their own styles, and this somehow I just learned to do it like that. I don't know where I got it from, but I've been drawing like this for years. So since it's a side part, I'm just doing that. And this is way too high. Like technically that wouldn't make sense because then the forehead would be too big. So here is the end of the forehead, so this shouldn't be that far in, or he would be bald. I mean, he could be bald. Sometimes I also like to draw hair like this, but I don't think this fits him. I don't really think this fits him. So for shading, just really simple shading under the nose, just tiny lines, and here as well. Tiny lines. You can go over it multiple times. Still doesn't make sense, it's way too high. By the way, this thing here, because here's the hair, this would be underneath the hair, this part, so I'm just making it darker because technically it would be darker. So you can just erase some details or make it clean. So, and if you also want to draw like a hoodie, I always draw my hoodies in a very specific way. So I'm gonna teach you this as well, because I'm already making a relatively long video and a long tutorial, so I can do this as well. So basically the way I draw hoodies, it's really specific. You don't really need to do this, but this is how I learned it, you know. I'm doing one sharp line. One here that roughly starts here. Hoodies can start here or here, but I like to draw them big. And then go down and then make another line and then go down as well. And this, you curve this inwards. And before you draw more, you draw it from here, because the hoodie starts from back there, and then you make a big curve and then sharp point here, like roughly around the middle of the face. And you do it the same on the other side. And then usually I draw like dots here and just lines for the hoodie things. Doesn't need to be detailed, hoodies aren't symmetrical as well, so that's totally fine. So this is basically how I draw faces, but I'm gonna show you all of this again real quick with another pen. So here's my ballpoint pen, just a black one. You can also use a blue one, or I don't know what color you like. Well, I like drawing on black. So we're doing all of this, what I just did, the same, just in quick. So a circle, then the cross, then going down, making a sharp line. Doing the same for the other side. And this is a really quick drawing, so it could turn out terrible, but I just want to show you how fast you can do this if you actually learn it a lot and do it a lot. But like I said, this is a pen I can't erase. Doing this with a pen is also really good if you can't erase, because then you're basically training yourself to draw without erasing, which is also really good. You should... I'm really focused right now. You should be making mistakes. That's totally fine. And if you draw with pen and you see your mistakes, you can do it better the next time. 2 lines for the eyes, like I said, doing them at the same time. Now I'm drawing wound eyes. Like I said, there are many different ways you can draw eyes. Quick lines for the eyebrows. See that one eyebrow is like way up, like now it looks like he has 2 different faces. But we don't care, we just want to know how to draw faces. Then really simple ears. Like I said, you don't need any detail in them, you can just draw X's in them. It depends on your style. Drawing a neck real quick and then doing this. I like to do more shadow always here, so it's clear where the neck is and where the face starts, basically. So again, here would be his forehead and here would the hairline start. What am I gonna draw for hair? I don't know. Drawing a typical anime. See, you can just draw it really quickly. It doesn't need to be perfect at all. Like, I see a lot of wrongs with this drawing right now and I don't care. Why? Because it's a sketchbook. You can make mistakes, that's totally fine. And this is just a t-shirt. Just 2 lines and then boom. Boom. I don't know, it looks weird right now because of the way how I drew the shoulders, but it doesn't matter. You just need to do this over and over again so you can draw it quickly and then you can clean it up. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like when I started to learn how to draw, I made a bunch of mistakes. I had a lot of old drawings where the necks were like really high, way too long, out of shape, way too thick, or the hair is all messed up, the head is not big enough. It's totally fine. Why is it fine? Because, well, look now, it isn't perfect. But you're going to get better. You're going to get better in time. See, here I did face studies. I did really quick face studies. There were like 1 minute each. This was 1 minute. This is, you can see, it looks awful. This looks also awful. And here I gave myself 5 minutes and it looks better. But then I was like, I don't like how I'm drawing. I don't like the style I'm drawing in. So I looked at an AI image and I was like, I'm gonna steal that style. And I do this, and this eye is completely messed up. It should be like this. But see, you just have to practice. There's also practice. A Pinterest image and I just did it with a quick few lines, and does it look good? No, it looks awful. But that's if you practice enough, you can draw something like this. I'm still really proud of this. This is way more anime style. See, I drew the nose really differently than I did now. Even though I do this here really the same way. You can change your style. You don't have to have a perfect Pinterest art style or Instagram art style or whatever. It's totally fine to mess up. And if you still have trouble learning faces, I would suggest like how I learned how to draw faces. I would just watch YouTube videos on YouTube videos and I would do what they do. I would copy what they're doing. I would follow the tutorial over and over again. Until I'm at a place where I can just doodle a face in 30 seconds or something. takes time and it takes practice. So don't worry if after your first time drawing a face, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like a clown or something. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It all comes with time. It's like learning how to ride the bicycle. You can't do it the first time. You just sit on a bike, you fall over. So what you're gonna do, you stand up and try it again. And that's how you learn to draw. It's not about talent, it's about learning. Well, let's stop this rambling, or this video is going to be way too long. So I hoped you found this helpful and you would like to see another tutorial, then just leave it in the comments. I'm gonna answer. See you in the next one.